Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Shruti Mishra and with me is Ritu Singh. These are the top headlines from the startup space. Arya.ag, a grain commerce platform, raises $29 million in a pre-series D round. This round saw participation from Switzerland-based investment firm Blue Earth Capital along with Kuona Capital. The company will use funds to gain market share and improve profitability. The agri-tech startup posted a profit of 17 crore rupees in FY24.
Electronics renewal and refurbishment startup Quarmatic secures 8.3 crore rupees in a pre-series A round. The proceeds will be deployed towards expanding into multiple categories in renewed electronics, scale operations and grow geographically.
Flipkart launches 5 new recharge and bill payment categories, including FASTag, DTH recharges, landline, broadband and mobile postpaid bill payments on its app. Flipkart partnered with BillDesk to help integrate the new services with Bharat Bill Payment System.
Amidst growing regulatory scrutiny, Microsoft withdraws from the board of OpenAI, giving up its observer seat. Reports suggest Apple too has dropped its plan to join the board.
Elon Musk AI startup xAI and tech giant Oracle end talks on a potential $10 billion server deal. Information reported that the startup and Oracle ended talks to expand an existing arrangement under which xAI has been renting NVIDIA's AI chips from the cloud provider.
All right, so those are the headlines that we're tracking for you today on Startup Street. Now, in what's brewing, Google-backed multilingual learning platform Adda 24/7 has announced the acquisition of Ekagrata Eduserv, marking its foray into the 800 crore rupee chartered accountancy test preparation market. Now, Adda 24/7 says this acquisition is going to help it diversify its offerings in the competitive exam prep space and also help significantly expand its user base, which currently stands at more than 40 million monthly users. For more on the rationale of this deal and what it means for the company, I have with me Anil Nagar, the founder and CEO of Adda 24/7. Also with me, my colleague Shruti Mishra. Anil, thanks very much for your time here on CNBC TV18. Good to have you here. Let's start by asking you about what prompted you to enter this CA test prep market and make this acquisition, and how does this deal with Ekagrata align with your overall strategic goals?
Thank you so much for inviting me here. So our company is about two things. Two things are very integral to our company. One, we want to cater to masses. We want to cater to people who come from smaller places, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 and beyond. And we kind of want to empower them. Secondly, we want to be around employability because that's the biggest challenge which our youth faces in the smaller cities. So I'll give you the background. So 2 years back, CUT exam was announced. So earlier we used to have JEE category or let's say engineering category, which was one of the big test prep category, and NEET category, which is again one of the big test prep category around medical exams and medical careers. Now this new category came up, which was about university admissions. So when we realized that a lot of people in smaller places, tier 2, tier 3 towns and villages, they aspire for doing their graduation from various universities like DU, AMU, BHU. So we realized that this category fits very well into our vision, and we kind of started courses for that particular category. And since that was the first time the category was launched, so we were lucky to grab a big market share there, and eventually in last 2 years we have become market leader in that category. So on our YouTube channel itself, we have about 1 million students who prepare for CUT category. So while we were catering to this category, we realized that a big chunk in CUT category is commerce students who have done their schooling 10, 12, 11, 12 in commerce stream, and they want to make their career in commerce category or around commerce careers. So that's when we realized that one of the big aspiration for these students is CA, Chartered Accountancy. And then we realized that CA will be perfect fit for our audience. So these are the people who are looking for careers beyond engineering and medical. And we have this audience on our platform.
All right, Anil, this is Shruti quickly stepping in. If you could also take us through the financial contours of the deal. You know, what was the total consideration and was it all cash?
No, this was, of course, a mix of cash plus equity
Okay.
and a strategic long-term deal. Probably would not like to disclose the exact financials, but not exactly cash, mix of both.
All right, so you're not telling us what the consideration was, but tell us this, with the founders, all of the employees of Ekagrata get integrated into Adda 24/7 fully, or will there be some redundancies with this deal? And how long before the integration is complete and synergies start to show, or do you see some challenges in that front?
So I'll tell you, in our journey, we have done one big acquisition, which was Study IQ Education, and I can proudly say that it was a very successful acquisition in tech category. All the founders, so we did the acquisition towards the end of 2021, and till date, all the founders and top management team is still working with the company. And Study IQ has also grown multifolds in last 2 years. Now, since we understand we have already done this acquisition, we understand there are going to be some challenges, but I think we can manage it very well because we have done it in the past. Two big synergies. One is, of course, Ekagrata is really good in content and they have very good set of teachers. They understand the segment very well. On the other hand, we have this huge user base who are looking for courses. Second big synergy is around technology. So one of the gap in Ekagrata right now is around technology or depth in technology, which we are also going to fulfill. So I think there are a lot of synergies, clear synergies, and our founders are going to stay with us. They are going to be part of Adda now, and we are
Sure.
going to launch all the courses on Adda platform itself.
All right. Anil, while you see a lot of synergies, tell us what will be the expected impact of this acquisition on Adda 24/7's market share and revenue in the competitive exam preparation segment. What are you expecting?
See, in terms of numbers, if you look at the number of students enrolled on any edtech platform, so last year we did about 1.2 million, 12 lakh students, 12 lakh enrolled paid students on our platform, which makes us among top 2, top 3 players in edtech category in terms of purely number of students who are studying on the platform. So definitely with this acquisition, we'll have CA category students also coming to our platform, which again, in terms of number of students, is a big category. In terms of exact impact on the revenue, I think it will unfold, and in next 1 to 2 years we will get to know it. But definitely our students will have there's a lot of value add for our students, and they will have more options to move ahead in their career with CA preparation.
Sure. Anil, since we're running out of time, very quickly, what's the kind of investment you're looking to make in this category, and will there be more M&As that you will eye for future expansion? Very briefly.
So one of the focus area for us is skilling, where we recently entered. Last year we announced that we are entering into BFSI, and where we are going to help even private sector banks. Currently, we cater to government sector banks, where we help them, where we help our students get into government sector banks. So BFSI is one of the focus area for us, where we are still exploring some strategic play. But CA category, again, it's also linked to employment and fits into our strategic vision. We are going to invest in the category, and we hope that next 3 to 4 years, this is going to be one of the big category within our ecosystem.
Sure, Anil, thanks very much. That's all the time we had, but it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on. Clean Electric, a developer of lithium-ion batteries, has introduced what it describes as revolutionary rapid recharging battery technology. Now, this new technology can fully charge electric 2- and 3-wheelers in approximately 12 minutes. My colleague Aishwarya Anand visited a charging station in Delhi to see if the technology was too good to be true. Take a look.
Tired of waiting for your electric vehicle to get charged? Well, what if I tell you that now you can fully power up your EV in just as much time as it takes for you to brew a cup of coffee? Well, battery technology startup Clean Electric claims to have cracked that code. The company has launched a battery that can power up your EV in just 12 minutes compared to the standard 1 to 2 hours of charging time. So how did they come across this breakthrough, and what does the real-world application look like? To find answers to all these questions, I'm joined by co-founder and CEO Akash Gupta. Akash, can you elaborate on the tech that you've deployed for the 12-minute charging, and how is it being used?
So basically, it's a proprietary battery technology which we have developed for different form factor of electric vehicles. We have 4 granted patents on this battery technology, and these are around direct contact immersion liquid cooled battery cooling, which is different from how a Tesla or a Rivian or any car maker will do it. So we are the first OEM globally to put this into production. When you are saying 12 minutes charge, it is essentially a 5C charging in technical terms. You divide 60 minutes by 5, it becomes 12 minutes.
Just quickly clarify this for us. When we're talking about under 12-minute charge, are we talking about from 0 to 100%?
Yes, technically it is 0 to 100% charging. For longevity of the battery pack, we generally keep 5 to 10% buffer. So we don't allow you to discharge to 0 to 100%. Technically, you are charging from 5 to 95%.
What kind of validation have you seen when we speak about like the use cases?
We have done 3,700 cycle lives of testing on these battery packs, and in that, every charge was a 12-minute charge and every discharge was a 30-minute discharge. After 3,700 consecutive cycles of charge and discharge, we have seen 11% battery degradation. Instead of 300 kilometer, you will get 270 kilometer on one full charge. We are already live in 37 cities with Bounce Infinity, and our vehicles has cumulatively clocked close to 1 million kilometer as we speak. We have around 1,000 batteries deployed in the market. We are also adding close to 500 vehicles a month with our battery pack.
You spoke about Bounce Infinity. So could you give us a sense of what other partnerships do you have?
We have just announced very recently is the Omega Seki Mobility for their OSM Mopedo. There are close to 8 OEMs in the pipeline which we'll announcing in this financial year.
I want to understand, as an OEM, how are you implementing it?
Bring a product that can be charged on any GBT or now in Type 6 or any sort of charging environment changes the game. We have tested this for over 50,000 kilometers and we've had no hitch. The technology works. We will be putting this across all of our dealership networks across this country.
Now when we're talking about such fast kind of charging, right? One of the biggest concerns that comes is the thermal runway. Also, how do you ensure that it's fireproof, right?
The patented technology what we have allows us to have 7 times more area than a Tesla type architecture, or 10 times more area than a cold plate, or which is more of a Rivian like battery architecture. So having this high contact area allows us to cool the cells much faster. When we are designing the battery to accept 5C charge rates, so our thermal management is 5 times more superior. Our cell has reached a maximum temperature of 89 degrees Celsius during that ARAI testing. And for any thermal runaway or any failure or any fire, you need 130 degrees Celsius. We had built a idiot-proof mechanism to enable that battery should not get into any kind of thermal runaway event.
So help me understand what is the expected lifespan of the battery, and in terms of customers, what is the kind of warranty that you're offering to them?
When you talk about the lifespan of a lithium-ion battery, it could range anywhere between 5 year to 12 year. What we are seeing with our batteries are giving 3,000 to 4,000 cycle life. And in terms of warranty, we are providing 3-year warranty in certain use cases with an option of extended warranty of additional 2 years, so total 5-year warranty.
What are some of the IPs that you're building?
We are already manufacturing the electric two-wheeler battery packs at a production scale, close to 1,000 battery packs on monthly basis. It's the capacity, and we are producing close to 500, 600 battery packs on monthly basis as we speak. By the end of this financial year, we will be present in two-wheeler, three-wheeler and four-wheeler electric car. Next year, we are also in pilots for the electric bus. So next financial year, you will see a lot of activity from clean electric side on the heavy commercial vehicle segment, which is electric bus and electric trucks.
All right. Akash, let's talk about the business a little bit. Help me understand what kind of revenues are you clocking currently, and are you profitable?
No, we are not profitable today. So we are doing almost 1.5 million ARR as we speak. So 100K of batteries we have been selling from the past 3-4 months. Talking about the path to profitability, what we are seeing is maybe in next 2 to 3 years, we will be EBITDA positive.
You know, you last raised funds in 2022 from Kalari and others. So help me understand that. What are the plans?
So the raise which we are planning is between 6 to 10 million raise which we are planning in our Series A, and it should get concluded in the next 1 month or 2 months. Yeah.
All right, on that note, we're going to have to take a short break, but up next, we'll tell you what the top asks of the food startups are from the upcoming budget, so stay tuned for that.
Welcome back to Startup Street. As we inch closer to the union budget on July 23rd, my colleague Abhimanyu Sharma caught up with the president and director of the National Restaurants Association of India and 2 founders of food chains to find out what their key asks were from the budget this year. All 3 batted for restaurants to be allowed to work round the clock. Listen in.
For us, a one-window policy, which basically allows us to operate and open restaurants faster. A one-window policy, which basically makes things similar in each state, and the availability of licensing done in a manner which allows our openings of restaurants and existing restaurants, renewals, to be done in a manner which is seamless. That's point one. In regard to GST, we are one of the industries that do not get input on our expenses. We've been trying to discuss this with the government, with the finance ministry, with the various different state ministers in respect to the various states and the GST council. We're hopeful, we're engaging. We want a dual policy where we can have a 5% and a 12% with input, which basically allows us to offset the expenses that we are incurring today and also allows us to spend more money on capex, which allows us to open more restaurants, hence more employment and more revenue for the government. All we need is acceleration on being allowed to operate with longer hours.
Talking about one nation, one election, we want one nation, one regulation. Across states, compliances, regulations are very, very large. It takes, in Delhi NCR, it takes 13 licenses to have a gun, but it takes 32 licenses plus to have a restaurant. I think what my friends in Delhi NCR tell me that the LG met them yesterday and he's trying to simplify this, so hope that's a welcome move. But yeah, regulations, compliances are very, very high in this industry and we really need to avoid duplication of work. Ask from the government definitely is for GST input. Like I said, we don't get GST input, so there's duplication of taxes. We pay GST on rentals, then whatever 5% GST we take from the customer. We pay that also to the government. We don't get the input credit, which is a must for this industry because there are so many restaurateurs who are not able to meet ends, are still running in losses, and getting GST input would make them profitable overnight. At the same time, the benefit would be passed on to the consumer because, see, if you are able to control inflationary measures without taking up pricing and, get some kind of a positive margin by GST input, the benefit goes on to the consumer. So optically, 5% might look good, but we are asking for a dual kind of a policy where it's 5 for those who want to be at 5, but 12 with input for those who want to be at 12 with input. Because, today when we also open new restaurants, we don't get GST input. Now, for every 10 restaurants that we open, we can open 12 if we get the GST input. So imagine the amount of jobs, more jobs that we can create, the amount of more revenue that, we can earn for ourselves as well as for the government, and the amount of growth that this sector can have. So GST input is a must. We are talking to the, to the Council of Ministers that form the GST Rationalization Committee. We've we've reached out to the finance ministers across states, and over the next few months, we'll be reaching out to them more. At the same time, we feel because we are one of the largest job creators, the second largest job creator in India, we feel we require industry status. We feel that there has to be a food service industry. There has to be a food service ministry. It's the need of the hour.
Our biggest demand is please give food services industry industry status because it's worthy of it given the size. Set up a separate ministry for food services industry because our challenges are extremely unique as compared to any other industry, and therefore it's all the more essential for our challenges to be dealt with effectiveness. Allow input tax credit for food services industry, because it is unnecessarily leading to double taxation for many years, and there is absolutely no pro-consumer argument for not having input tax credit. There are only pro-consumer arguments with input tax credit, not in the lack of it. And lastly, it is in the best interest of the of food services industry for it to be enabled to run 24 hours a day and just open it up from licensing point of view.
Well, that's the budget, but staying with the food services industry, Nitin Saluja of Chayos and Sagar Daryani of Wow Momos also lay out the big consumption trends that are playing out right now. I don't know about you, Shruti, but I'm definitely ordering more, and yes, healthy eating is a big thing now.
Absolutely. Definitely. And let's, reduce. It has been reduced. It has been replaced by deliveries. And while Sagar Daryani believes healthy eating is a big trend now. So let's listen in.
So multiple trends out there. Number one, as you rightly said, which is also hashed out deeply into the report as well, that cooking at home, that is reducing, and that is being replaced by food getting delivered to homes. That's one. People are that much more open to newer cuisines, and thirdly, there is a variety of new consumption use cases that have come up. For example, conscious eating right after gym. That's something that would not exist maybe, let's say, 7-8 years back, but now it's a prominent part of the overall consumption use case. Late night consumption happening, overnight consumption happening, that has now become sizable. So all this is something that you'll continue to see evolve over the course of next many years.
So I'll tell you what, the real juice in the food service sector is now in the tier 2 cities, which for me is the real Bharat, right? If you see the tier 2 cities, as per our report, is moving to organized consumption at a 50% rate. So if they were 20% organized food earlier, now they're eating 40% organized food. So they are also, getting, more knowledgeable about what to consume, how to consume. And I think healthy eating is very, very important. So what you put into food, that's what comes out. I think in India, we have now reached that cusp after COVID where people are very aware of what they want to eat, how they want to consume. And that's why they prefer organized players, they prefer branded chains. And to me, if you ask me, at least for Wow Momo, I can say that, we're now in 41 cities, and the tier 2, tier 3 cities are very, very profitable for us. We feel the real growth is there.
Well, those are the big consumption trends that Sagar Daryani of Wow Momo and Nitin Saluja of Chayo spoke of. Moving on, the recently concluded Global India AI Summit saw discussion among stakeholders on application of AI and developing use cases for India in areas of agriculture, education and healthcare. My colleague Ashmit Kumar caught up with the chief scientist at Dwadhwani.ai, Alpan Rawal. He shared a glimpse of what the future looks like. Take a look.
first, let's talk about India. You're deeply ingrained in the Indian context.
Yes.
I'm keen on three areas: agriculture, healthcare, and education.
Yes.
Give us a sense of what the AI use case application will look like in context of these three spaces.
We're developing several use cases in agriculture, healthcare, and education that are relevant not for the top 5% of Indians, but that are relevant for the bottom 95%. And the opportunities are huge. I mean, LLMs is one area, and LLMs can really be used to empower on-the-ground workers, healthcare workers, agricultural workers, farmers. In the future, we can even be looking at digitization for India using a combination of speech models and large language models. You know, if imagine a scenario in the future where someone in a village wants to open a bank account and doesn't need to fill in a form. There doesn't need to be a bank teller typing information into a computer. All you need is a conversation between the bank employee and the customer, and the conversation is automatically understood, transcribed, converted into a structured form, and converted into a bank account, essentially, right? So this is possible in the future. This is not yet possible today. Now, other than LLMs, there are lots of other very interesting areas as well. So, for example, a project that we work on in maternal and child health, one of the issues in India is that baby growth, after the baby returns from the hospital to their rural home setting, baby growth isn't monitored necessarily in the most accurate way. And there are supply chain issues with deploying digital weighing scales in rural areas, in remote areas, and so on. So how do you make sure that babies are weighed accurately, that their body parameters are measured accurately, and so on? So we've developed a computer vision-based AI app that fits onto a basic smartphone of a frontline health worker like an ASHA worker or an Anganwadi worker. And all this person has to do is to take a short video of the baby, and the app tells you what the weight is. And we've got this down to very low errors, so that it's actually usable in the field. And in addition to that, it facilitates automatic digitization of this data. Nobody has to write down in a register and then get it digitized later. Right? So these are the kinds of things we are doing. This is in health. In agriculture, we are using computer vision AI to help solve the pest challenge in cotton farms.
Just want to get a grasp from you in terms of regulatory frameworks, in terms of evolution of these regulatory frameworks. How do we go about it? The question being asked is, we don't want to stifle innovation,
Yes.
and at the same time, we want to ensure that there's a safe, secure environment. Is there a balancing act that needs to be done?
I would say we need to study regulation that is rolled out in other countries, but we can't mimic it. We need to respect that diversity of data that exists, inherently exists in our country when we build our regulatory frameworks.
What is the need of the hour? Do we proceed forward and rush with the DIA and hope for some kind of AI framework which is then consistent? Or do we then wait and pause for there to be a global consensus, but that could mean that we operate in a vacuum?
Yes, so no, we do need to go forward, but I think if we have a sense that the regulations have to evolve in time as we learn, I think that would be the way to go. We can't just stop and say, let's wait for everybody else to decide what to do, and then we'll decide what to do.
We have 4.
Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of Startup Street. From Shruti and me, it's a goodbye. Stay with CNBC TV 18 for all your news and updates.